Sir, you can start now.
Okay. Good evening, friends. I am again your host, KK Gupta here. I'm a director in Association of Financial Advisor of India and also director of research in India. So I think under the series of the association, we are having these 28 webinars. 27 we have done it and different subject. And I'm thankful to the outset for all the participants, my members, all the bankers, appreciated our all webinars. Last time it's a record webinar where some MD of the bank also participated in that webinar. So I'm thankful to all my participants for such a blessing for them. So under the series of the Research in India, we already hold about 135 webinars. And at present, we have got a registration of more than 500 with us, beside the YouTube, beside the Facebook, beside the LinkedIn. I think today's subject is very, very interesting subject. That is funding alternative for startup. Now, major perspective is startup. What is a startup? Who start the business? To be with having some knowledge or preparing some DPR, draft project report, and coming to the banks, coming to the investors. Most of the time, the bankers are somewhat reluctant to consider such because they have only a no margin money or margin of collateral or those things are available with them. They can still some investors are there who are interested for investment under the startup. So I also hold one webinar under the series where we call the investor and we call the startup also. And we have interacted very, very clearly with the investor. What the investor were telling that they see the project, viability of the project, and what is the experience of the entrepreneurs who come into venture. Although it is very risky venture, where more than 70% or 60% go bad, or somebody could not survive. Lekin that 30% are coming very, very clearly. When you say the unicorn, so we are having what we are talking about, India stand third number. First to USA, second China, third is India. Even the 21, about 44 unicorn has come into existence. So we can say this is a very, very encouraging step taken by the government of India and also our entrepreneur coming into the picture of the unicorns. Now, what is unicorn? Where the valuation of any company, any startup, gone up to 1 billion in US dollar, that you will consider as a, you can say, unicorns. So we are talking about the 21, there we feel that there is a 44 webinar, this unicorn in the 1 year existence. And after we are talking about the USA, we are eighth number. That means if they are having a 8, we are having a 1. That we have to improve it. Like still, as a India, so we are doing very, very excellent job under the unicorn or the startup. I will not take much time. We are eminent speaker with me. We are with me Shri T.S. Vidyasagar sir, who is MSc Chemistry, PGDM, Marketing, MPhil, and certificate in the IPR from the BPRO, Geneva. And he's a very expert under the field. We will talk to him. And we are also talking to Miss Isha Jain. We are also talking to Mr. Mahesh and Dr. Monica Arora. Monica Arora is a professor, Operation IT Analytics with the Amity University, Haryana. And she is well versed of this subject for the startup. So I will take the opportunity to invite Dr. Manika Arora uh, to give his thought. Madam, what do you feel? What are the startup do to come out as stronger from the current market terminals? What do you feel? The startup, what I'm talking about unicorn, what I'm talking about other the startup, and they are playing a very important role. And have any thought on that, madam?
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
I head over to Madam Arora.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for to have or to invite me for this wonderful platform to share my views. Now, when we talk about the startup, it is something which everybody can do. The only thing is one should be streamline his ideas, his or her ideas. And as we can see that there are many youngsters who are coming to the startups and they are doing a wonderful job. In the same way, when we look for the startup, how we can go about it. So the very much thing is the very much important thing is the funding. First is the funding. The second one is the nature of the startup, and third one is while you are looking for some startup, definitely look for how you are giving back to the society, community, because while you are looking for something to giving back to the society, that will be a wonderful idea, and where automatically you will be getting funding and other things will be standardized or other thing will be streamlined. If you think about something, and that will automatically give a leverage of your startup to be a successful. So when we talk about the startups, like while we are processing to the different processes in the startup, go for digitalization. Digitalization is a process which can be incorporated in marketing and services, where you can use the social marketing, e-marketing kind of thing, so that it will be helpful for you to leverage or to have a greater audience, a big audience, to give your ideas to the big audience. Go for localization of resources, technology, as well as product designing and channelization. Instead of the bigger market, you should be more focused on the local market. Go for inbound logistics, local people, and outbound logistics with talking to the local market to get the benefit to the local market as well. Then there can be, you can always look for some parenting with the complementary products, where you can help them with the resources and take the efficient utilization and go for a sharing basis. The another idea behind is you can look for the flexibility in the strengthening in business. If I say, don't stick with one business, but you should always look for some alternatively. Like say, if you are into the one business, then you can look for the delivery also, and you can have the another, like say the same infrastructure can be used for multiple purposes. Then if you are looking for some corporate, look for some corporate as a client instead of individuals. Then that will strengthen your business with a less amount of time. Strengthening the intermediaries relationships and the profit as well, while looking for the corporate houses instead of going for a local this thing. Then design the suitable products, like say when you are going for look for something called as the sustainable, where you are giving back to the society in terms of green product purposes, in to attract the NGO and the government funding as well, because that is again one of the criteria when you are looking for some funding from the government organizations, how you are giving back to the society, how your product is based on the sustainable or something called as the green. The resources support, the land support will be getting if you have something in your mind relating to giving back to the society, as well as looking for some sustainable kind of thing. Community engagement is again one headed part, where you can have some outreach activity, create awareness, where you can ensure the local community to look for your product and automatically give the leverage and automatically take the leverage of your product, and you will be getting the outreach, or automatically when you are being associated with such kind of thing. So this is from my side. I can take the questions if you have. So you are on mute. Gupta ji, you are on mute.
So what you're talking about, madam, is very important. When that you're talking about when all resources are available with you, or infrastructure available with you, you go for the multiple or something like that. And you are giving back to the society. I think you are also related. When you are doing something, you are giving to the society, I think. Madam, सबसे point what you are raising is a fundraising. I think from the you started with the fundraising. Startup is very difficult to raise the funds. So it is by experience that it is from the relatives, friends, or your own capital, something like that. Lekin that will not suffice the purpose. For any business, when you are going to start, there should be a fund available with you so that they should not feel any dearth of the funds. So what do you feel? How to the initial stage? So what is your suggestion? How to raise their funds? I think that is the most important issue these days. Have any
Yeah.
view on that, madam?
Yeah, sure, sir. So, it is if you are new into the business, you can look for some angel investors and some venture capitalists. There can be a seeding or a crowdfunding kind of thing where you can have a multiple the corporates who are funding you. And again, there is a government funding MSME schemes which are also available where one can look after the schemes which are available in the by the government. There is Mudra, Startup India mission, which the government has given a leverage to the youngsters. Even if I can add on, if I talk about my university, Amity University, we have an incubation center, and we have the funding from the government which is available, and we have to use that fund. So if some if somebody some startup is go for that screening criteria, so he may get fund from the universities as well. So I think not only Amity, but there were other universities as well, which has there, because we also want to have our incubation center in place. Universities, it's a mandatory from the government, and it is giving us a ranking. It helps us in ranking. So most of the universities and colleges have their separate center for startups, where our own students participate in the startups, as well as we want other students also, other students or any member also, to come up with the idea, to go for that idea. We will associate a faculty with them, and then they can take that idea forward. But it has to be over the screen. It has to be screen over the process which can take place. So I think there are in Delhi, NCR, we have many universities which has this center set up. The only thing is, there has to be a connection where one can connect to these universities and take the leverage of it. Sir, you are on mute.
So, madam, what I'm talking about, UK Incubation Center, that means every university is having such centers. So they are providing by the government some assistance they are providing.
Yes.
Whether as a university you are giving them as a seed money or you are giving them a loan, directly loans, and how much interest you are charging for that, or you are giving us some free of interest because you are getting the subsidy from the government. So can they explain some scheme, madam, for that?
Sir, as of now, I cannot explain, but I will definitely go through it and then revert back to it.
Okay. So this is very important aspect,
Yes,
because I
yes.
was also not knowing this fact. That some universities, some students, they are giving some compensation for that, either way of the seed money or giving the loan, and what interest they are charging. So we'll find out also.
Yeah,
If
sure.
possible, you can circulate
Fine.
so that I can circulate all the information to my participant of today meeting.
Sure.
I think this is a very important aspect, madam.
Sure, sir.
So now I'm coming to Madam. Now I'm coming to Madam Isha Jain. Isha Jain is corporate trainer and financial consultant. I think she is giving a training to the respective people. So we will understand from her. So, Madam, what do you feel? What is your opinion? Or what are your thoughts? What are the recent trends and developments in funding ecosystem of the startup? Have any view on that, Madam?
Yes, sir, definitely. First of all, at the outset,
Please,
I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity and having me over here. So, startup, as very well explained by you and Monica ma'am, that the startup culture has now been building in our country, and probably we'll see that every youngster, there was a time when we used to look upon job opportunities and, how can we grab a good job. But now the focus has been shifting, and we are more majorly looking out for opportunities whereby we not only just create wealth for ourselves, but can also create some employment opportunities and can help our economy grow. So the trends that have majorly been observed is that we need to understand the Indian economy first of all, before we get into that. So Indian as an economy is something where, the population is increasing, and we are expected that we will surpass China in another few hours.
Who is speaking? Please. Who is there? Please stop it. Yes, madam, please continue.
So yes, I was telling you, sir, because our population is on a growth trajectory, so we will surpass China in another few years. So that is why the reason is that around the globe, every investor is looking up to India to multiply their wealth. They actually want and participate and contribute so that they can also make some returns from the growth platform, growth trajectory that Indian economy will witness in few years to come. Now, as mentioned by Monica ma'am, absolutely correct, that incubation center is like the first touch point for any student, right? Or for any, entrepreneur who just want to initiate their journey. They have certain thoughts in their head and they want to probably monetize them. So that can be a first touch point, because if university is offering them at ground level, the support will be offered to them. So it will be much more easier for students to understand that how exactly they can come up and raise funding and grow the business. Second, so very important programs like Atmanirbhar, which we have recently seen a trend like Atmanirbhar, the self, reliability, that how Indian economy should be self-sustainable. That has also contributed a lot. And those all factors in together, they are making entrepreneurs more confident because they are getting the support from the government. Government schemes are becoming more and more friendly, right? The ease of doing business, we are improving our ranking on that front. So that is also improving the things, and that is also bringing transparency into the economy. Then when we talk about the priority lending, government has specified certain sectors in which they feel that there should be certain priority lending that should be made, and that can be done at a discount. Why is the major reason is this? Major reason is because post-COVID, the concept of China plus one has taken a boom. And who can be the major competitor of China? Needless to say, India could be an emerging competitor. And in fact, they are. India is. So this China plus one strategy plus the priority lending. So who will benefit most out of it? Definitely the economy and the new entrepreneurs which will come and innovate and will contribute in the GDP growth. Then the Mudra scheme, again, very important. So if you will think it from that angle, so we just don't have certain, private investors or angel investors who are not here just for, multiplying the capital, but even government is trying to help the people at the ground level by initiating the Mudra scheme, like in which we can, the major the area or the niche market is the non-corporate or the small or micro enterprises, whereby they can get a loan of about 10 lakhs, up to maximum of 10 lakhs. And since the inception of the scheme, more than 5 crore loan applications have been processed under Mudra scheme itself. Now, I'm not talking about big corporate. Here I'm mentioning about small people, probably the which the business does not need the crores and crores of funding, right? So from everywhere, probably from every angle, we can observe that even the government is initiating. That is also a very important trend. And then the population growth, GDP growth of our country, the COVID effect, post-COVID effect, China plus one strategy. All these things together are helping in creating the awareness and motivating the ground level entrepreneurs in taking their journey ahead.
Very nice, madam. Very nice what you're talking about the Indian economy. And you're talking age of business also. And I think these are the major aspects. Like, my point is how the startup are being helped under this scheme. Because if you're talking about a Mudra scheme, where is the amount is very negligible amount, what they're talking about. And whether the under Mudra scheme startup being financed by any bank or any institution, because these days major aspect is the capital. Because for a startup, capital is required from their own source, but that entrepreneur has not capital with them, and they are looking for a private equity or something like that. To have any view for that. Moreover, what I another question for you, because this COVID or other affected the growth of the startup. Although what you're talking about 21, they're having a very important years for the Indian economy. There when we are having a 44 unicorn are there. I think that is also a growth story. Lekin, what do you feel that by affecting the economy, what we are talking about in it, COVID time, how you react for their startup? Have any view on that, madam, for you?
Yes, sir. So definitely. So first coming back that how Mudra scheme is actually working. So when we talk about entrepreneurship, right, fine, we are not just gonna talk about the big corporates that are around. We also need to look entrepreneurs with maybe a person who just want to, set up a small education institute in their semi-rural area. So that could also be taken as an entrepreneurship venture. Or maybe they just want to set up, a small business unit of making bangles or any kind of that artistry work, even a painter, right? Maybe a painter needs just certain paints and certain colors and paint brushes, just another example. So even that could be an entrepreneurship. So definitely no private investor or private equity or venture capital is going to do the funding at that stage. It's the government Mudra scheme that's going to help these semi-rural or rural segments who also have the dreams of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Right. So Mudra scheme is basically for that target area whereby you can take a maximum loan up to 10 lakh rupees, and definitely government is promoting it. Secondly, sir, coming back to the COVID effect. So COVID was actually a double-edged sword, right? It has benefited, no doubt, because the country started looking up India, because initially the raw material supplies were majorly dominated by the China as an economy. But if something so major, a pandemic which has happened, and China being accused as the main contributor in this pandemic, so definitely the whole world, when the even the advanced economies, when they were so much dependent on China, they need to look out for an alternate. And again, as I said, that India can be a best competitor. So in that way, yes, COVID has benefited India. The startup culture, it has started building up, right? Secondly, so the negative part of this is that in order to control or in order to make sure that economy does not crise, there is no economic crisis, a lot of a lot of liquidity was injected into the economy by increasing the money supply altogether around the globe. Whether we talk about the Fed in US or we talk about in RBI in India, by all the central banks, a lot of liquidity were injected around the globe. Otherwise, it would have been very easy for the world economy to face crisis at the time of COVID. But we didn't face that. Rather now, because of the high injection of the liquidity, now we are facing the problem of inflation. Now, in order to deal with it, now when economy or world is facing inflation, that is a very good time or a golden time for startups, I can say. Because that is the time where people will come, there's a lot of liquidity, people have purchasing power, everyone will come and try to make maximum out of their economy. But when once the central banks would like to absorb that excess liquidity from the economy by increasing interest rates and by various other measures, who will impact first? It will be the startup, because they are still at the initial stage. They are still budding. They are still trying. The large big companies will still be able to sustain their operations, but it will be the startup culture who will get hit the first at first. So it's like a double-edged sword that yes, initially it has benefited us a lot. Those who have raised the capital initially, probably they will be able to sustain, but the startups which are probably now in the phase of raising capital, they have to struggle a bit. And if the liquidity is continuously being absorbed by the central bank, then the startup culture will definitely face a hit. No doubt about that.
Ishaji, what you're talking about, I think that while in my mind, we are talking about the inflations. When the repo rate is increasing, rate of interest is also going to increase. Because to control the inflation, the Reserve Bank has only one arm in their hands to increase the repo rate. Once the repo rate has gone up, so startup is also facing a problem because the rate of interest will also be higher, and inflation will also be affected for that. I think you are rightly covered that point. You also talking about the Atmanirbhar Bharat. You're talking about the GDP growth of the country. So for a startup, for Atmanirbhar Bharat, so how starter can be benefited under this scheme? Have any view on that? You're talking about the Atmanirbhar Bharat.
So, sir, definitely, if you talk about Indian economy, so we are, as of now, we are majorly import driven, right?
Yes.
But we have been trying to shift our focus. In fact, few days back, I came across thereby, initially, we thought that India would be able to compete China in respect to goods. But now there has been a shift in focus. Now, what we think is, what I also believe, and many economists also believe, that rather than competing China with goods, if we can compete them in services, probably that is where we can win. Because China is way ahead than us in respect to industrialization. So
Yeah, right.
competing China in respect to goods can take a more time gap, but in respect to services, probably we can surpass China in a much easier way. So that is what Atmanirbhar can actually benefit. If we make things more, if we improve the quality of education and thereafter the services, right? So that is something that probably can help India in becoming a more export oriented rather than being import oriented.
Yeah, Atmanirbhar Bharat, definitely what you're talking about, that when we are Atmanirbhar, I think we don't depend upon China or USA or any other country, because that is very useful for the Indian economy. What was our Honorable Prime Minister David 5 trillion economy up to period of 25 or 24? And I seen one of the industrialists in one of the meeting where we are talking about, he was projecting, if you're talking about 2050, so we will the world largest Indian economy will be there. Now you're ranking 5th position. And what you're talking about ease of doing business also, I think India is doing a very wonderful job for that. Madam, I think I appreciate your sentiment, what you're talking about. You are, I feel, economist. What you're talking about the economy, I feel it is very, very good, your talk and subject, you know very well. I will come back to you. I am coming to Professor T.S. Vidyasagar sir. Vidyasagar sir is a very, very learned person. He is MSc Chemistry, PG, DM, Marketing, MPhil, certificate in IPR, BIPO, and CFA and RP of the SEBI and NCFE, MT consultant of JED scheme of Government of India. I think he's a very educated person. So, Vidyasagar sir, just I am asking you, what sort of challenges startup are facing now in obtaining the funds? Because funds are the main constraint. What you're talking about, any industry, when talk about any industry, any entrepreneur, money is required. Without money, nobody can work for that. Like a startup, as we already discussed. So what do you feel that? What sort of challenges are there in your opinion, and how it can be overcome? I hand over to Mr. Vidyasagar sir. Vidyasagar, please. Vidyasagar sir, आप unmute कर लीजिए sir. Unmute कीजिए please. Yes sir, please. Now
Are you able to hear, sir?
stage is yours. I am hearing you, sir. Please go ahead.
Are you able to hear, sir?
Yes, sir. We are hearing you. Yes, sir.
Good
Yes.
evening to Gupta ji, eminent panel members and participants. The point raised by Gupta ji is very important, that funding is a crucial question. Now, I am a startup in my domain, nutraceutical, nutrition plus pharmaceutical. I have my own startup for the last 2 years. During pandemic, I had enough time, so I did a lot of research in nutraceutical arena, and I could come out with a startup with a very clear model, which I am going to elaborate a little later. Now, second is, as Gupta ji pointed out, I'm a JET scheme consultant. JET scheme of Ministry of MSME stands for Zero Defect in Manufacturing, and zero defect in environment. Therefore, the scheme was meant for MSMEs. And I had a lot of interaction with MSME in this aspect. The point was that any startup, when it comes to funding, my idea for the last 20 years, I've been involved in the entrepreneurship development and also a lot of seminars we have conducted on behalf of MSME Development Institute, Bangalore and Chennai. The idea what I could gather from the large number of MSMEs, including startups, or that they are very particular not to share the idea with anybody else. So the point number one is today lean startup concept is catching up. That means people want to spend less and start on their own funding. So my suggestion, my opinion is that any startup should start on its own funding, that is bootstrapping or self-funding. The idea is, please don't waste your time, energy in circulating your idea to government officials or to private equity funding officials or bank officials. They will just kill your time and energy. You will not be able to focus on your idea. Your idea is a golden idea and take it to a level. I have already invested around 1 crore on my own self-funding. I have not asked for anybody. Now, the next step is, once I am successful, people are coming to support me. Let me elaborate this with an example. I have a property rented out to a bakery person from Kerala. He came with an idea that I want to start a bakery. The 3-story building he occupied with a very clear message that I want to develop as a bakery, I want to develop as a snacks, that is sweet and savory selling. So he started with little funding and he paid us our advance and rent, everything. Believe me or not, friends, within a span of 2 years, he has taken the business to 50,000 per day. Imagine the volume he has generated. 50,000 rupees sale per day he has generated. And he came with a 2-wheeler to see me. Now he comes with a SUV. That's a development in 2 years' time. So it's a classic example that he started on his own. Now, in the last 3 months, what he has done, he has contacted a gentleman who has flush funds with him and he has become partner with him. And they are going to expand their bakery business in other parts of the Bangalore. So this is a success story. Why I'm telling is self-funding is a very important concept in taking the challenge of startup business. Now, the second important factor is startup need not have a haste approach. It's not going to materialize in a month or 1 year or 2-year time. It takes its own time. And therefore, the startup should think not to hurry up, not to meet people, not to jump for government schemes, not to jump for any offer coming from bank or anybody, because you will be simply sparing nothing, but you will be wasting all your energy. You will be documenting enough material which are going to be in the dustbin shortly. So therefore, the 2 challenges are number one, you should have self-funding, that is bootstrapping. Number 2, you should have a very clear approach that there need not be any haste approach for success of a startup. Now, when it comes to the opportunities, let me give you some examples. Now, the business in terms of savings in India, if you can note, yesterday, the turnover of Bourses market, that is capital market, was 48,523 crores. 1 day turnover in Bourses market is 48,523 crores. mutual funds investment in the last month, that is October, touched 7,81,275 crores. Now, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, please remember, we are talking in terms of huge money basket available in India. We have seen the growth of mutual fund doubling in 10 years' time and doubling in 5 years' time. That means the mutual fund investments are coming from savings. That the first time fixed deposit has been overtaken by mutual fund investments. That's a solid evidence to show that we have a lot of funds to talk about in terms of investment. Now I'm coming to the point, any startup starting with its own self-funding, within a year or two, will see a lot of clients coming to them. So the second opportunity, the first one is self-funding. Second opportunity is client will be willing to invest in your project if it is successful. As I could show you that bakery business. The third important thing is relatives and friends. Number of relatives and friends are available with a lot of savings, and they come to you and asking you where to invest money. Either you can suggest them equity market or mutual fund market or fixed deposit. Now, if you have a solid project, friends, you will have lot of people coming to you with lot of money. So that is the third aspect. That is the third opportunity available for Indian startups. Now, Indian startups, I will not just say that huge opportunities are there. The startup people should be willing to invest properly their time, energy, and the ideation which they have created must be concentrated, and they should be concentrating only on their project, not to go to a government official or bank official or anybody to discuss about the project, because they will be demanding a lot of documents. You'll be wasting all your energy. Your focus should be on marketing. Your focus should be how to raise funds. Your focus should be how to satisfy customers. So this is how we can face the challenges as well as we can see the opportunities available for startups in India. Over to you, Gupta ji.
Thank you very much, sir. I think you have given a new concept. So you should, because you are right, up to that extent, sir. The idea I don't want to tell to the other investor, because that will be not useful for any entrepreneurs. That up to that extent, I agree with you. Lekin for doing the business from their own funds are very, very difficult. If you're talking about the Unicom, if any company of the Unicom, I think they have progressed with the investors. They have progressed with the crowdfunding. They are progressive with the angel funding. All such things are there available on the record, sir. If they are, then there is no challenge. If they are not asking for any money, if they are doing their own business from their own money, because entrepreneur has some, you can say, idea. They want to sell that idea. They want to do it. Financially, they are not sound. Even people of their relative or friends are also not helping these people. I think your idea is well taken. What do you feel, sir? In spite of that, have any this startup has opportunity these days? Because when we are talking about the inflation, we are talking about the increased rate of interest. Once you're talking your own money, then the interest is not applied. For inflation, have any sir idea for the current market, how it will work for the startup? Because some entrepreneur may ask from us, what is your views? They can start the business at this stage when the inflation are there. Have any view, Mr. Vidyasagar?
Yes, Gupta ji, what you say is absolutely right. No amount of money is going to be sufficient over a period of time. So
Yes.
what I suggested, start self-funding. And as you grow, you can convince the client, you can convince the relatives, you can convince the friends and take their money. Because with my nutraceutical project, I tried to convince my food industry people, pharma industry people, nutraceutical industry people.
Sir.
They just demanded a lot of the documentation, which I could not satisfy them. And therefore I decided, let me not waste my time. Now, second, when it comes to startup, we are not talking about in terms of unicorn right now. We are just focusing on only startup. So first, self-financing funding, and later on, we can always follow upon with clients or relatives and friends till we build up to the level of unicorn. Then we can talk about in terms of government or private funding or equity funding.
Very
So,
nice.
idea which I am sharing with you.
What
And
are the
one more important thing, Guptaji, nowadays IPOs are oversubscribed, even if they have even 500 times more of their base,
Yes.
face value. It is oversubscribed by 60 times, 70 times by retail investors. Because I'm a consultant, SEBI resource person, I'm sharing with you this information.
Very nice. Very
Now,
nice.
this kind of information gives you an idea that lot of money available with Indian people, population, that is savings are there. That's a good sign. And therefore you see all IPOs are getting successful. Therefore, over a period of time, funding will not be a problem. There will be opportunity for any startup to get funds from various sources.
What are the opportunities, sir? What do you feel? Opportunity?
Plenty, sir. The idea is I'm not talking in terms of academic side. I'm talking in terms of practical side. If there is a good idea, it will flourish. Now, what I feel a good idea may not be good idea for the market. Therefore, I have to test it. Now, what I have done, nutraceutical, I have during the Corona period, I have identified two important products. One is for the immunity building, another stress buster. And both the product, I could see the huge market potentials are there. Now, the question comes, if I test it in my marketplace, will it be taken by the customer? So I'm focusing only on these aspects, Guptaji. I'm not talking to any government official, though I have linkage with the MSME ministry, I have linkage with various ministries. I don't fritter away my energy and time with these gentlemen. I'm sorry to tell them because they are not.
Even, sir, one participant appreciated your ideas. What you're talking about, I think without going to pillar to post and getting the money, they will not give the money. And with your sources, if you can start, I think this is a good idea. Sir, you are also consultant for the zero effect, zero defect.
Yes, sir.
Have any view on that, sir?
Haji? Yes.
Have any view on that?
Again, they have revived the scheme only
Yes,
for
sir.
industry, sir.
Sir.
It's going on. And the very few takers are there. Let me share with you. I have conducted 10 awareness program, half a day training awareness program with the department, Development Institute of MSME.
Right,
and
sir.
then I had conducted 2 training programs, one at Madurai, one at Vijayawada. One for consultant, one for assessors. Now, these 2 5-day program leave alone. But when I conducted the awareness program, industry people came, no doubt. 30, 40 people came. And when I checked with them, they said, sir, if you are coming as a consultant to me, give me ideas about that, I will implement, sir. You take your fees, but don't involve us to government scheme. Don't tie up with scheme. That is the pathetic stage, sir. Hopefully they said, sir, please don't get involved again. Don't ask us to involve in any ministry affairs because they will ask so much of documentation and they sit on that papers. I will not get any. I will waste all of my energy and time. Number 2, one of the CG chief person,
sir,
central the CG, that is credit guarantee scheme, gentleman came and asked me, nobody is willing to take fund from us. What should I do, Professor Vidya said. I said, better you go to the office because they are afraid. Not afraid, they don't know what to do with them. Your peon will ask you first to sit outside and the clerk will say, sir, he is on busy work, meeting. So when I told him, he said, is it true? Yes. I said, yes, you have to take the scheme to the people. Similarly, any government scheme, whether it is Mudra or any startup funding scheme, should be taken to the idea where it was generated. People cannot come to office because they are absolutely obsessed with the idea of going to any government office.
My point was that whether this scheme is successful, what they are talking about, the zero defect and zero effect, and whether the people are following that scheme.
No, sir, it's not successful. Even website, if you check up, very few takers are there, and those who have the lot of people, that is industry who have grown well, who have appointed the right people, they are successful. The startup industry people, they clearly say, sir, we are one-man show or two-man show. We don't have skilled people, so everything I have to attend, which is not possible right now for my side, from my side. So that's open.
Okay, okay. So thank you very much. I think you have got very nicely. I think what your views are there. I think this is the first time I'm listening that any entrepreneur should start from their own funds. I think you are right also to some extent because
Yeah.
nobody want to share the ideas. If some idea is cropped up, so if you want to share, then we will divulge in different directions, and he cannot get the benefit for that idea. I
Good,
think
good.
that is also
Absolutely.
fine what you're talking about. I think, sir, I will come back to you now. Coming to Mahesh,
Thank you.
he's MBA, PG, DCA, SAS Financial Modeling. He's doing it. Certified Investment Consultant, NSC, and CCMP, IRDA certified. I think, Mr. Mahesh, just I'm talking to you in respect of when will be the fund flow to start up regain strength? Because as Mr. Vidyasagar was telling, the actually own fund they should start. Whether you agree with this phenomena, and when you feel that the people will come to him to come to startup, I want to invest without approaching him. At what stage they should become into that directions? So head over to Mr. Mahesh, please, Mahesh sir. महेश जी अनम्यूट कीजिए आप अनम्यूट कर लीजिए प्लीज
Good evening, sir. Good evening to Gupta, sir. Good evening to Mother Kalar, madam. Good evening to Isa Jain, madam, and good evening to Professor Vidyasagar, sir, and Mr. Rajkumar, sir, and all designated and all participants. I thanking you for this providing this opportunity for to be a part of this membership. So actually today I'm in honor for this occasion and respected to all members, including participants. Thank you. So as per Sarah discussing how the flows will come. Okay, so actually I agree. I truly agree with Vidyasagar sir and Isha Jain madam. Okay, so actually nowadays the startup industry has been changed from the last 2 years. Why? Because before 2 years back the corona pandemic is there. Nowadays so many young persons are thinking about their own startups. Why? Because this 2020 has been changed total global economic area. They don't want their risk, so they are planning to invest on their own and they are to create their own startups. For example, just 2-3 days back, I'm in this regards. I'm congratulating ISRO team, the new startup of this is Skyroot. They have been launched successfully in space. So this is one of the biggest and happiest moment for our Indian pride. So startups actually think of first the basic in starting of idea. So idea generation is a major part that will come for idea generation. Then it will come. So funds flow means it will come for different types of funds is there. So idea generation, that is seed funding, and where to start with first with the initial idea from our family members, our neighbors, and all these things. So fund, so that is the first part. So funds, then actually and as per sir and including madam, I agree with them. So currently we are thinking about the total global concerns, including inflation, currency rates, and including all labor problems, recession period. Okay, actually the government currently is implementing 2 schemes. Just I come to know. So that is last 2-3 days back, last 1 week back, the government is implementing the digital currency. So digital rupee. So that will good impact to total overall, including for international trade and including local trade and including the technology space. Technology space nowadays, before that we can't expect a trade and without environment without technology. Nowadays, the technology plays an important role in all aspects. So we are making the total all startups are doing by all in nothing like in digital space. So and if you see some if we if we see we are going global and including doing by digital marketing and including nothing like mouth marketing. So this will be my view on funds flows. So whenever the I mean the economics conditions will be changed, the automatically will form. So that depends upon the market condition, that depends upon the inflation. Inflation, that is major important killer for a total entire things. So inflation is the major part. Whenever the interest rate is coming, the customer spending will come and he will purchase the things and he will invest, and that will automatically change the total sales and revenue and including investment also. So here investment, the inflation is making too important thing in startups.
So, Mr. Mahesh, what you're talking about the economy. When economic growth will be there, definitely the startup will also be grow. Like the point is, when you feel that a startup can get the money without approaching the banker, without approaching the market, without approaching anybody, even the supplier to whom he is supplying the goods can also come into that aspect to invest in the business. So have any view on that, Mr. Mahesh?
Yeah, in starting stage, sir, we actually for the startup, it will take minimum 2 to 3 years. So
Okay.
starting stage, that will be very difficult to all entrepreneurs. Okay, by
Yes.
starting, it will take like 5 to, and it will take minimum 2 to 3 years. Initial stage, the startup will be in such type of situation. So like by building up customers, and doing of marketing and by doing of initial promotion and including the channel development and including marketing in digital space. By simply you can start with small you can start with the small revenues. Okay, then after doing up these things, you can get some good results, and after that you can move into different space. Initially, the startup will be like in a tougher situation only. Why? Because it will like operations, sales, and including salaries and including on maintenance. It will come. So whenever the startup is starting, it will come startingly. It will in a majorly in a management thing. So startingly the 6 to 7 months it will come in a thing. After 6 months or 6 months it will grow, and then you can spend on the salaries. You can spend on the you can spend on the manpower, and you can purely into it. You can do like all marketing channels like social media and including all things. You can expand and you can grow in global also. So the first starting phase is totally difficult.
So, Mr. Mahesh, what do you feel that? What is the future of this startup?
Yes,
Have any
actually,
thought on that aspect?
yes. Thank you, sir. Actually, we are currently the thing seeing of total global environment depends upon the current global economic crisis, that is Ukraine crisis and including global commodity prices. Okay, actually, last 1 week back, International Monetary Fund has shown that the good, even though in the crisis, India's performance is good. So this is one of the good signs for Indian startup market. So after changing of some, I'm expecting some positive move. And after like 1 or 2 years after there sometimes. So the startup moves, it will be like will be very much good for the good entrepreneurs. Nothing like by different innovations, different technologies, and that will go. So we are thinking last 2 3 years. So the common corona pandemic has been shown a significant role for imports and exports. So last 2 years, we are seeing total almost all food startups, technical startups, and including almost so much has been changing in a total global space. So I think so many opportunities are there in a startup. So I am agreeing with Vidyasagar sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Then I thankful to you. I think Dr. Monica Arora is want to leave it. Madam, you are available? Just I want to have a last word from your side. Any advice to our participant, madam? From your side, because you are
Yeah.
having a very big university, have any advice to our
Yes, sir,
participant?
just a single advice, keep learning. Learning never stops. So as because this amount of people who are going to be doing a great things if they are running their startups. So they have to be definitely going to help you in Indian economy. So just all the best wishes to them. So thank you so much.
Thank you, madam, for your participating. I think your views are well taken. I think it is appreciated for your all views which you have given to us. Thank you very much. Now I'm coming to Vidyasagar sir. Have any advice, sir? Vidyasagar sir, you are also
Yes.
a very learned person. Whatever you view, because I have conducted more than 200 webinars, even under the banner of the ASSOCHAM, we have PhD chamber, even CIA, even ASSOCHAM. I could not find such views. I think you are very straightforward in that respect. Have any advice to our participant, Mr. Vidyasagar?
Yes, sir. For startup friends, I only suggest develop the idea and try to market it. Once you are successful, people will come get attracted. They will come to you. You don't have to go there. Now, once you build up your bank accounts, bank manager will call you or he will come to your place and say, sir, we are not taking loan. Please take the loan. You get the answer, Guptaji?
Very
Sir,
nice, sir. Very
good.
nice. I agree with you. Bank
Sir,
is going to that person who don't require the money.
may not be multinational,
I agree
national
with
bank, but private
I,
bank will come to you, sir. I will tell you, when I was the vice president with Sammy Labs in Bangalore,
okay.
he got a export order of 61.3 crores. The news came to us at 10:30. 11:30, our banker approached us, sir, we are going to fund it. The entire amount we are going to fund it. Believe me or not, this is real happened couple of years back. When I was the vice president marketing, my member was shared with company secretary come general manager finance. And he said, we will give you the loan at 7.5%. Next day morning, believe me or not, 4 top executives from ICICI Bank came directly to my friend's room. He said, sir, we got the message that you got an export order. We are going to fund it at 4.5% interest. Where is 7.4%, 5%, and where is 4%? Believe me or not, third day we got a call from Pune saying that we are international fund. We will give you the 61 crores just for 1% interest. This happened, really happened. This is my experience. And that is why I'm saying, once you build up, people will come to you. Once you are successful, people will come to you. And don't waste your time initially with these people. You make them to come to you. A government will come to you, sir. I suggest you, over a period of time, all jet scheme failure, everything will lead to a situation where government official will be given a accountability. You should get 100 startup in a year, otherwise you are not there. This is happening in most of the departments now, including startup Tamil Nadu, startup Kerala, startup Karnataka. All departments are filled with people with a clear accountability that you should get 100 startups in our fold. Otherwise, you are not there next year. That kind of accountability will be brought in by any government over a period of time, sir. So my suggestion, please involve yourself as a startup, build up your own credential. Over a period of time, you can become a unicorn. Good luck to all of you.
Thank you very much. I think this is a learning experience for me also, sir. Like, very good. You have given very, very important message to our people. Now, Madam Isha, have any view, madam? Last
Yes,
word, do you want to suggest something?
Yes, sir. There's a very, interesting observation that I have made, that if we talk about the US investors, so the venture capitalists are still raising the funds. It's not that they have stopped raising it. It's just that they have stopped deploying it because there is a fear of recession. So eventually that funds need to be deployed. It will be invested in startups or in certain, companies across the globe where India has a huge potential that a lot of, that investment will flow down here in our country. So the point is that the money is still being getting collected, and they are bound to, generate returns for their investors. So that money ultimately will get deployed, but yes, there will be certain time that it will take until unless we have a clarity whether it will be a recession that we'll be hitting, or then we'll be able to move out of it as early as possible. So thereafter, probably we'll get better clarity. But yes, the startup culture is yet to boom. It is bound to boom in future.
Very nice, madam. So Mahesh ji, have any view for the last word? You can say something.
Gupta ji, can I share one?
Sir, you are welcome, sir. Welcome.
Sir, in my experience of 20 years in pharma industry,
Sir.
I know one company built only marketing team. Over a period of 7-8 years, they built up 250 field people, live wire, vibrant field force they developed, and this person was selling only manufactured by third party, product manufactured by third party. And seeing the success of this marketing setup in South India only, a Bombay company came and acquired this company, paying 50 crore. Just for marketing setup, 50 crore was paid by that large Indian conglomerate to this person, and this gentleman became a director of that company. Look at that. So any startup will not go with failure. If they think their idea is very good, people will get attracted and they will come.
Very nice, very nice. That means marketing play very important role, even you can say from the manufacturing, even other things are there.
Yes.
So marketing, if you have marketing skill, so
Yes.
you can also earn money. What you want to say? I
Yes,
think
sir.
major aspect, but is the message you are going to pass on to other people. Very nice. Mahesh ji, have any view, sir?
No, sir. Actually, finally, I'm adding you. The thing is, I'm surely telling that last. Just I'm telling about in behalf of youth side. So actually, we are nearly 150 crores of population here in the world, the largest population. So we are from different states, different languages, and different innovations, different lifestyles, different type of innovations. So there is a lot of opportunity to establish startups, and we are getting. We are seeing a best example from this last 3 days. Like I'm repeating once again, the startup, the Skyroot, they launched the thing. That is a big direction for a new startup. So, but the thing is, the major thing is we are thinking about the global concerns. So it may be in all parts. Okay, I hope this will impact total all global things also, including startups also. So nowadays, all people are educated, and including all people know how to use the digital tools, especially digital marketing and digital tools. So this will plays an important and major role in total in all aspects. Sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mahesh, very well. Thank you very much. So at the end, I just want to summarize the position. We in all webinar, what you're talking about, whether SME sector or other sector, even if a trader, we always talking about these challenges. Challenges or arrange the funds. I think today webinar was entirely different from the practical aspects. What you're talking about, you should identify your ideas and try to build your own funds instead of going to either the investor or going to the bank or something like that. So if you are going to the definitely bank, other people will come to you only for taking the loan. And Mr. Vidyasagar also given 1 or 2 example, exporter, something like that. I think that is a major aspect in this. Still, what I feel it, finance is a finance. Any big venture, any other things are there. It is very, very difficult for an individual person to raise the money from the relative friends and in all investment. All investment is not possible because all they are put the money in the education or something like that. Like still, this is a matter of thoughts where we want to discuss in another webinar also this thought which Vidyasagar has given us. And regarding this other aspect, we have discussed very clearly the future of the startup. There is very bright future of the startup. And India is playing very important role
Yes.
Where in the world we are talking about, we are third number position on
And next year, G20 summit is going on there, sir. G20 summit. So that is one of the biggest opportunity. G20 summit.
So you are right, sir. Yeah, Mahesh, you are right also. G20 summit will also create a opportunity.
And another 5G technologies, 5G tech,
Technologies,
yes,
yes.
that's impact, sir. Why? Because nowadays people they are not thinking about job side. Why? Because due to inflation and due to global crises. For example, if currently we are crossing into next of maybe the world number one population, that is 150 crores. Okay, that will be big asset for total our India. That maybe
Because
40% of youth is there. So if they create
we have advantage for the population. We have advantage because our age group is very, very less. And you see the Indian technology or Indian education or other things, where India is, you can say, ruling all over the world. They're talking about the any profession, talking about the technology or IT profession or the doctor profession. Anything, India is the major aspect in that aspect.
and even we
So
have so much natural resources also, natural resources.
India, just I think it is very difficult because every season is available with us. गर्मी में गर्मी होती है, सर्दी में सर्दी होती है. So all natural and whatever we have seen. So India is a great country. So thank you. At the end, I am thankful to uh, uh, Professor T.S. Vidyasagar sir. I think who has given very great opinion, and Madam Isha Jain and Dr. Monica Arora and Mr. Mahesh. I think we'll talk this webinar. I feel this is a very useful webinar. We'll talk about the practical aspects, practical from our thoughts. We are not going for the bookish or internet or something like that. Somebody had not read it, only giving the personal experience. What is the personal experience? I think all the participants who are there, the banker or other thing, must be happy with this webinar. Actually, we are at Research in India. We are a merchant banker. We are doing a investment banker also. And we are conducting technical viability study for the banks. We are preparing DPR. We are giving education to the bankers, to the PSUs, some other peoples also. And we are in a government advisory services. Besides that, we are constituted this Association for Financial Advisor of India, where we are having more than 400 members with us. And that main object of this association is to impart knowledge to our members, to the bankers, to the entrepreneurs. I think this association is very useful for the benefit of the financial advisor. Who are the financial advisor listening to me? To let I request them, they should be become the member of this association so that it can give us a more strength to have such webinar, to have such knowledge sharing on this platform. At the end, I am thankful to my staff who is behind the scene, who is not on the cameras, just like Pritaji, Mr. Rajendra sir, Mr. Lokesh, Mr. Devsis, Mr. Rohan, and other people of my IT team, entire IT team, who have done this excellent, I think, webinar, where we can share our experience, share our knowledge to our members, to the bankers, to the entrepreneurs also. With this word, I'm thankful to all my eminent speakers. So recording other thing we are sending to you, and what are the feedback we are going to receive from our participants, that will also share to you. I think all our eminent speakers are very well spoken and share their personal experience. I have no word to express my gratitude on behalf of the Research in India and from the association side. With this, I close this session. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for opportunity.
Thank you very much. Hanji.